Hi, I'm Shane with etrailer.com. Today I'm going to walk through how to install the CURT T-connector vehicle wiring harness on your 2016 Kia Optima. The installation process on this wiring harness is pretty straightforward and simple. It's going to use factory plugs behind each taillight. The only thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have one wire that you're going to have to run up to the battery so that it gives your lights power. The reason you need that is if you had a wiring harness that just ran off the taillights, what happens if you have a trailer that has a few extra taillights, it's actually going to pull power from the taillights. Having that power wire coming from the battery, you're only getting signal from the lights, you're getting the actual power from the battery. This is going to give you all your proper lighting functions, brake signal, turn signals, and your running lights. It's going to give you 3 amps per circuit for your stop and turn signals, 6 amps per circuit for your tail lights. This wiring harness is designed to live inside the vehicle, so when you're not using it, you simply roll it up and you can put it in an out-of-the-way place. In the trunk, you can put it down in your spare tire area, and then when you're ready to use it, you simply pull it out. You're going to lay it right over this rubber seal. Make sure you stay away from anywhere where the trunk makes the connection. Close your lid, hook up to your trailer, and you're ready to go. Now, a very important feature on this wiring harness is it's going to have a converter box. And what the converter box does essentially is it's going to protect the factory wiring from any backfeed from the trailer if there's a wiring issue with the trailer. If we want to go a little bit broader with it, what it does is it uses, when it takes a signal from each taillight, when you say, let's turn on your blinker. So on your blinker, what the box does is it's going to send that power back to your trailer so it's matching the signal coming from the vehicle. Another nice feature is the dust cap on this. When you're not using it, the dust cap is going to protect your connections from any dirt and debris while you have it stored inside the vehicle. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let me walk through how to get it installed. To start our installation, we need to remove the floor coverings in the vehicle. We need to take out our back scuff panel. Right on the inside, in each corner, there's going to be a little plastic, it's like a plastic nut. You may have to, you can see it's got a slot on it. You can take a screwdriver and put it in there. If you can't get it off, you may have to pull out on this just a little bit, just to put a little bit of pressure on it. Most of the time you can spin these with your hands. Just like that. Once we get those out, we're going to pull out and up. We'll pop this loose and set it aside. You'll notice here, this clip came off. If this happens, pull this out, and on the back of your panel, slide it back in that slot. The reason is when you're putting this back in place, you're not going to be able to get that to slide in because you're going to be pushing straight down on it. So it makes it easier to do it now. And we're going to come over here to the side panel or the carpet covering. We're going to pull out these fasteners. Trim panel tool probably works the best. Flathead screwdriver, you may end up damaging the ends because they're pretty thin. Once you get that, pull this back. We're going to come to our plug behind each taillight. We're going to push and pull out. That's going to disconnect it. That's going to be the same thing on the other side of the vehicle. Take our wiring harness. We're going to take the side with the red, brown, and yellow. We're going to match them to the plug. Plug it in place. And then our factory wiring, plug it into the other ends. From here, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and add on our black wire that we're going to be running to the battery. It's going to come in a bundle. It's going to look like this. You're going to strip back one end. Add on a butt connector. Butt connector comes in the kit. Crimp it into place and add it on to the black wire coming out of the converter box. And what we're going to do is we're going to mount our converter box. The kit's going to come with some two-sided tape. Peel off one side here. Stick it on. And then we're going to mount it to a flat surface. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it right about here, right in this area. I'll just peel off the other side. Put a little pressure on it, make sure it sticks good. After that, we're going to ground our ground wire. It's going to come with a self-tapping screw. This has to be on metal, not any plastic. I'm not actually going to drill a hole. I'm actually going to take this nut off right here on the back of the tail light. I'm going to ground that wire right there. Now our black wire that we need to get up, we need to get it outside of the vehicle to go up to the battery. You look right over here, there's some grommets down in the bottom where the spare tire would sit. However, if you look right here, this is a little paper flap, and what this does is when you close your doors on your car, this flaps open to release air pressure. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this right out of this corner, and it goes right outside underneath the car. We just route our 4-pole right to the center. Our green wire, we routed it straight across over to our passenger side, and it connects behind the taillight the same way on the driver's side. Then we can go ahead and reinstall our scuff panel in the back. And reinstall all of our floor coverings. Now if you have this underbody panel, your black wire is probably going to be sitting up on top of it. So just reach up on this side here next to your fender and you'll be able to pull it out. I'm going to run this up to the battery real quick and I'll show you how I did it. What I did is I took a 10mm socket, took this bolt off right here on this panel, flipped my wire over to the top side so it stays tucked up nice and close to the bottom of the vehicle, went over top my axle to make sure you're staying away from anything hot or moving. Took a 10mm socket and a 14mm socket, ran along this edge of this panel and pulled it down. What I did is you can see my wire tucked in there. I ran it all the way up to the front of the vehicle. Came around here, right over this side. And what I did is took an airline tube, passed it down from my battery side, took my wire, fed it into the bottom of my airline tube. Now I can go up top and pull everything back up there. Put my wire up right here. I went ahead and zip tied it right along this factory wiring, ran it underneath this air box here. I'm going to tuck the wire kind of down there. I'm going to cut it to size. Strip it back. Your kit's going to come with a butt connector. This being outside, I recommend using heat shrink. You can find heat shrink butt connectors here at etrailer.com. Go ahead and add that on there. We're going to have our fuse holder. Pull off one end, insert it in there. The other end of our fuse holder, we're going to put on the ring terminal that comes in the kit. Take our heat source, shrink our butt connector. What I'm going to do is you want to make sure when you make the connection that your fuse is not in the holder. Take a 10mm socket. I'm going to remove this nut right here. Add on your ring terminal. And then you can reinstall the nut. Once you have that, you can go ahead and install your fuse, and we can test out our wiring and make sure everything is working correctly. Now we'll test our wiring out using part number I26. Left turn, right turn, brake lights, running lights. Once you've tested out your wiring, go ahead and add on your dust cap, and you're ready to go. That's going to do it for a look at and installation on the CURT T-connector vehicle wiring harness on your 2016 Kia Optima.